touch your Hans. Just make sure you get everything like you want it. Favor, just touch all your seatbelts, touch all your connections, touch your Hans. Just make sure you get everything like you want it.
Well, good evening, everyone. Race day yet again here in the Sigmaverse. And tonight we are ARCA racing. And at Kil-Kare Speedway, max field capacity is 33 drivers. So we're going to have 2 heats, an LCQ, and the main event. Heat 1 will see 15 transfer out. Heat 2, you'll see 15 transfer out, and then LCQ will be for the final 2 drivers. So starting on the front row, you've got James Gunner, who's been on pretty much kind of a hot streak throughout all the series, trucks especially. He's looking to have a good run here tonight in ARCA with Zach Magoon to his outside, Trevor Vaden, and the 27 of Evan Snake, Hamburgerson and Chris K. Green, Mark Shelton, and the 80 of Finley Herwig. The 15 of... It'll let me go to it. There we go. Craig Bush alongside Stephen Oberstadt, Alex Sanvital, and the 69 of Hank Scorpio, Jonah Burridge, and B. Roy, Bailey Parker, and Sly Ojima. And then at the very back, you got Jamison Thole alongside Jaden Anderson. So the first 2 heats will be 38 laps in length. The LCQ will be a 25 mad dash. And 15 transfer from the main, from the heat to the main. Last time we were here, we were in the trucks, and we were treated to some actual good, hard racing. I imagine that ARCA will not fall short of treating us to a good race here. Green flag waves, and they're off and rolling here tonight from Kil-Kare Speedway in Ohio. James Gunner off to the early lead here. Vaden now up to second. Zach Magoon falls back to third. And short track action under full steam ahead here. Those transferring out, it's not going to be as big of a number for drivers going home. Right now, looks like Jaden Anderson in the transfer spot, along with Alex Sanvital. Those are your last 2 transfer spots as they sit. The 40 there of Jamison Thole, the 48 of B. Roy, and the 01 of Sly Ojima on the outside looking in. Nearly 3 wide through the turns there. And truly, this heat's going to go by extra quick here. Oberstadt now on the bubble, under attack here by B-Roy. B-Roy gets by Oberstadt. That's going to bump Oberstadt down to the LCQ as it stands. That 21, definitely a lot stronger than it's showing here. And maybe it's by plan to fall back here and wait a moment while the others go all crazy up front. Jamison Thole cruising through the field. He was on the outside, now he's in a transfer spot. This is the home track to our very own Jack Ross in the Cup Series. Jack Ross has had kind of a rough start to the season after inheriting his team and has struggled to put together decent runs. Meanwhile, James Gunner making it look easy out front, leading all the laps here in heat number 1. Steven Oberstadt gets back by B-Roy, and now Roy on the outside looking in. And just like that, Oberstadt struggling yet again. Staying up on that high line is not the call here, as it seems to be the slower way around the track. Don't know if he's perhaps saving his tires, but seems like he's still got a little bit of pace in that 21 that could get him into a transfer spot. In the meantime, B-Roy looks like he's going to get by Jaden Anderson, and that'll put Anderson on the bubble. Not where you want to be in the closing laps in the heat race. Now Jaden Anderson slots his way into that position, number 15. Last transfer out of the heat here as it stands. Alex Anvital putting up a pretty good fight there on the inside. Might get by the 21 of Oberstadt here. And just like that, we're halfway through the race. The leader has not quite caught up to the lap traffic yet, but it's only a matter of time before he does. Gunner leads over Vaden, Bergerson, Shelton, Magoon, Snake, Bush, Chris Kagreen, Jonah Burridge, Bailey Parker, Finley Herwig, Jamison Thole, Hank Scorpio, Jaden Anderson, and B-Roy, your top 15. Kil-Kare Speedway, very unique setup it has. There doesn't really seem to be much for straightaways, as these guys are almost going full turn all the way around the track. Front you got kind of a straightaway there, but it's pretty much a gradual left-hander all the way through the back side of the track. Very, very interesting design for a track. Okay, as we have just around 5 laps to go here, that transfer spot heating up a little bit. B-Roy continues to hold on to it, but right there in the pocket, right behind him, you've got the 24 and the 21 looking to take a transfer spot. Hank Scorpio losing some ground here. It looks like Scorpio is going to get passed for position. That's going to give San Vital one hell of a chance here to try and take the position away and get that transfer spot. 3 laps remain now, and that transfer spot very much all up in the air. Is you got Steven Oberstadt going low on the 24. He's going to try to pull a double whammy here and get both the 24 and the 69. They have one more lap to go, as they're a lap down, I believe. So, or the white flag's waving. They've got one more lap because they're still technically on the lead lap here. So the 14, the 69, and now Oberstadt with one more chance here. I don't think he's going to close that gap on the 69. Hank Scorpio is going to get the job done. And your LCQ drivers are going to be the likes of 24 Alex Sanvital, the 21 of Steven Oberstadt, and the 01 of Sly Ojima. Moving on to the main event, you've got the 32, the 18, the 13, the 64, the 51, 27, 15, 10, 4, 40, the 78, the 8, the 80, the 48, and the 69. I don't know how they went a lap down. The 32 never got past them as far as I could tell, but it treats them as a lap down in the record books there. So that concludes heat number 1 here at Kil-Kare Speedway tonight. We're in race number 5. The winner was James Gunner of heat number 1. As you can see there on the lineup, Trevor Vaden came home 2nd, Hamburgerson 3rd, followed by Mark Shelton, Zach Magoon, Evan Snake, and Craig Bush. Then you had Chris Kagreen, Bailey Parker, Jamison Thole, and Jonah Burridge, Jaden Anderson and Finley Herwig, along with B. Roy and Hank Scorpio as your transfers into the main event. And so heat number 2, 38 laps, just like the first one. 15 transfer as well. That'll give us our 30 main entrants. Then we will have an LCQ of 25 laps to figure out 2 more drivers that'll make the field. Looks like we've got somewhat of a loaded lineup in this one, as you've got the likes of Wyatt Wilkinson and Ace Blake, our 2 most most recent winners, I should say. Former winners in the last 2 races. So at the front, you've got Adam Cruz, Rand Kataz, Casey Klein, and Skylar Taylor, Alan Chavot and Chase Kovacic. Then you've got Wyatt Wilkinson and Eli the Wolf. Man, I don't know why this track doesn't let me skim through. As you can see, Joe Hill and Kaylee Sheets are in the next row. Wyatt Wilkinson and Eli the Wolf. Ace Blake and the 25 of Donovan Heist. The 43 of Jakov Rosevich and the 22 of Gustavo. William Kinsella Jr. and Matias Nunez. Matthew Hubert and Chris Mozzie with Craig Popkris at the tail end of the field. 19 in this heat. 4 of them will go on to the LCQ. They would join Sly Ojima, Ralph Oberstadt, and Alex Sanvital in that last chance qualifier to make the main event. The main event tonight, 150 laps. All these drivers, for the most part, are going to be doing about 180 laps tonight regardless. Maybe 200 laps if they have to come out of the LCQ. And at the front, these 2 not normally seen at the front. You got Adam Cruz and Rand Kataz side by side for the lead. Those 2 fighting hard for the position. Adam Cruz not letting that 9 car get too far away. Casey Klein right there in the background. He's cut his teeth on this form of racing. So this is very much home base for him. Racing on a short track. Especially his time in late models. He's got a lot of laps turned and expertise when it comes to these types of racetracks. He's going to get his way up to 3rd over Skylar Taylor. Skylar Taylor still fighting hard there on the outside. We'll have to skim around and see the battles throughout the field here. There we've got our dynamic duo of Ace Blake and Wyatt Wilkinson fighting side by side for position a little bit deeper in the field. Roughly about 7th and 8th there. Chase Kovacic very much in this points battle. The points battle is something to behold here in the Sigma ARCA Series, as we've got 4 drivers that you could just throw a blanket over with the battle for the overall championship. As we are under the 5th race here tonight of 18, there's still plenty of racing to be had, and a lot could change. Wow! Skylar Taylor fighting back on Casey Klein. Looks like she's going to get by Casey. Alan Chavot up into the top 5. That number 79 looking pretty slick there. Man, Rand Kataz, that's out of left field. And remember, this is the month of May. We will be giving up some extra special bonuses in the month of May for each race won. These heat races don't count, but the main event tonight, our winner can start collecting those wins and earning the bonuses that I'm giving out as part of my 300 subscriber extravaganza. Those of you that might not be on the server, this is what's on tap for everyone. First win for a driver in the month of May, they will get a custom profile banner made by myself. Second win, if they get a second win in the month of May, they've got options. It's a 3-piece prize. They can only pick one. They can either get a custom wallpaper with their car of choice, their whichever series they want to feature on that wallpaper. They can get +2 boost to all of their series of racing. So if you have ARCA trucks and Bridge to Cup, it would be +2 to all 3 of your vehicles in the series. Or the third one would be a free paint scheme for any of those series listed as well. That's only if you get 2 wins in the stacking of the month of May. If you get to 3 wins, that's where stuff starts to get interesting, as I will actually hand out $5 gift cards to a driver that can rack up 3 wins in the month of May. So that's a pretty big deal. I mean, giving away $5 gift cards, a $5 gift card. Someone can get to 4 wins in the month of May, they'll get a $10 gift card. So if you're really winning a shit ton of races this season, it's going to stack up and you could win about 15 bucks right there all alone. And if it comes down to it, which I have an inkling that it could happen, 5th win or more, we'll just have to figure out a super duper surprise reward for the overachievers. So yeah, that'll be kind of fun to follow. We'll have our own little playboard in action for the month of May, trying to figure out who's eligible to get those bonus prizes and whatnot. Wow, this is interesting development, as Matias Nunez failed to make the last race through the main event, well, through the heat races, just like this. He is tail end of the field, running 19th. He would be the first of 4 moving on to the LCQ. Gustavo, Matthew Hubert, and Chris Mozzie all looking like they're potentially on their way to the LCQ. Eight laps to go now, so this is getting down to the nitty-gritty in heat number 2. Our leader, Rand Kataz, closing that gap on the tail end of the field here. Looking like it's about the same distance that they closed up on the back of the field as it was in heat number 1. Short of a miracle here, I don't know if Matias Nunez is going to find his way forward. 33 of Eli the Wolf gonna get by the 09 of Jakov Rosovic. Possibly, hasn't gotten the job done yet, but they're still racing side by side for that position. 88 of Chris Mozzie right behind, waiting to pick up the sloppy seconds when the 09 gets shuffled backwards here. The 09 now the last car on the transfer bubble. 4 laps remaining. Rand Kataz and this was about where we saw it start to get turned around in the first heat, where these guys really, the length of the heat, the tires start to go away. Some of the other drivers that have been holding back at the back start to come alive. 2 laps remaining, and it's not looking promising here as the 16 now gets by the 22 of Gustavo. Gustavo 1 lap down. 6 going low here. 1 more lap, and we'll see if anything changes here. The 09, the last transfer, Kinsella is going to hold on for the position. Going to the... Wow, and I don't know why it laps those guys. Once the checkered waves, it laps them without them even getting a chance to race for it. So that's an interesting discovery on our part here. The others going to the LCQ would be the 22 of Gustavo, the 16, the 6, and the 88. Moving on to our main event is the 9 of Rand Kataz, the 11 of Adam Cruz, the 29 of Skylar Taylor, the 1 of Casey Klein, the 14, the 62 of Chase Kovacic, the 79 of Alan Chavot. Then you got the 77 of Ace Blake, the 66 of Kaylee Sheets, the 25, the 19 of Wyatt Wilkinson drops pretty far back in the field there. Then the 50 of Popchris, the 43, the 33 of Eli the Wolf, and the 09 of Jakov Rosovic. I'm still kind of learning names in the ARCA series here, as it's pretty fresh, pretty new. So I'm just going by numbers on some occasions here because it's mostly foreign at the time to me. This was heat number 2, race number 5. "25 laps, and we'll get our LCQ roster set up. This will be interesting with only 7 drivers. 2 can transfer onto the main event. Of our 7, it includes the 01 of Sly Ojima, the 21 of Steven Oberstadt, the 24 of Alex Sanvital. What we'll do here, it's a lot smaller because we can fit a lot more drivers in the main event than we did in our last race. Okay, so for that, you got the 01 and the 22. The 21 of Ralph Oberstadt and the 16 of Matias Nunez. The 24 of Alex Sanvital. The 6 of Matthew Hubert. Followed by the 88 of Chris Mozzie. So 25 laps for 2 drivers. Ralph Oberstadt on the pole alongside Sly Ojima. Right behind them, you've got the 6 and the 24. The 6 being Matthew Hubert and the 24 of Alex Sanvital. Matias Nunez and Gustavo are going to have to come deep in the field there as they're in the 3rd row. And Chris Mozzie right at the tail end. Make your picks, predict who you think's going to make the main event here tonight. I don't think you have to look too much further from the front two. The first one's pretty much almost a given. Once you get out there and cruise away, you're pretty much golden. That second spot though could get a little bit volatile. These guys aren't going to have an opportunity to catch lap traffic with only 25 laps and a 7-car field. I think things are going to get pretty much strung out here before long. There's some late-breaking developments too with our Bridge to Cup race tomorrow night at Armory Digital Super Speedway. 2 of our ARCA standouts are going to get an opportunity in a one-off run for the Monty Shangle Motorsports Hyundai entries. Your top 2 drivers as of right now, Ace Blake and Wyatt Wilkinson, have an opportunity to run their one-off start tomorrow. That'll be interesting to see what they can do. We already know what they've been able to do here in ARCA. So Ojima was a little bit aggressive in blocking there. That has bumped Alex Sanvital backwards a little bit, up high and shuffled out as the 6 of Matthew Hubert fighting for the position now. All in the meanwhile, you got Steven Oberstadt out there on a Sunday cruise. 8 laps into this one so far. And just around 17 laps to go. It really is hard to predict what kind of racing action we're going to have here tonight. It's been a mixed bag through the first 4 races, as we've seen 4 different winners. And what has been the most impressive is our newcomers that have only showed up for the last couple races. They didn't even start the inaugural opener at the start of the season. And they've already won back-to-back for 2 guys that haven't even started all the races. So things are going to definitely be interesting here tonight. What'll happen is everyone's going to have to re-qualify once we get the main event roster locked. So everyone's going to have one more opportunity to get pole position here tonight. And with a full field of, I think what I'll do, we'll allow for the top 3 to transfer here so we can actually utilize the most of the track available to us for the 150 lap main event. So with that being said, Alex Sanvital right there in third right now would be your last transfer, but Matthew Hubert putting up a fight there. All these guys are going to race like every position matters no matter what, even if the rules change on the fly. Which, of course, why wouldn't you have a larger field when you can physically handle it? What has been impressive this year was that we did Daytona with 46 entries. That's the largest field ever in a SIGMA Series race. And it was worth it. I mean, we had the Daytona duels. We had 50 drivers vying for 46 spots. Atlee Weiss became your very first driver to ever finish 46th place, which, of course, with higher position count, you had to reflect that in the points somehow. So Atlee Weiss, your defending champion, already started off the year in 46th place at Daytona, which was actually the second race of the season, but pretty close to the season opener for our Sylvania Cup Series. Closing laps here in the LCQ. We will be getting ready for main event action in around 5 minutes time. Your top 3 as they run, it is Ralph Oberstadt, Sly Ojima, and Matthew Hubert. On the outside, you've got Alex Sanvital trying desperately to get back up to third position there. White flag waving, one more lap, this time by. Ralph Oberstadt, Sly Ojima, and Matthew Hubert transfer on to the main event. Out of the race here tonight, none other than the 24 of Alex Sanvital, the 22 of Gustavo, the 88 of Chris Mazzi, and the 16 of Matias Nunez, which is a rough hit as he's failed to make 2 of these short track races now, back-to-back weeks that they've run. $150 laps should be interesting here tonight. So out of the race is the 24. The 22 and the 24. The 88 and the 16. Now is time for the main event 150 laps here around Kil-Kare Speedway. We'll let the qualifying roll out here and see who is on the pole for tonight's event.
Favor, just touch all your seatbelts, touch all your connections, touch your Hans. Just make sure you get everything like you want it.
Currently given a few more opportunities for people to tune in here as qualifying about halfway done here. Skylar Taylor on the front row with Finley Herwig in the, I believe that'll be our first lap contested for qualifying here. Behind them you got Hamburgerson, Ralph Oberstadt, Alan Chavot. That's an impressive run from him. Kaylee Sheets, Craig Bush, Chase Kovacic, Ace Blake, Casey Klein, your top 10. Then you got the other KK, Chris K. Green in 11th, Evan Snake, Donovan Heist, James Gunner, your Heat 1 winner, qualifies mid-pack here in 14th. Craig Popkris, Bailey Parker, Wyatt Wilkinson, Mark Shelton, Jonah Burridge, Trevor Vaden, Sly Ojima, Zach Magoon, Matthew Hubert, Eli the Wolf, Jakov Rosevich, Rand Kataz, Jameson Thole, Hank Scorpio, Joe Hill, B. Roy, Jaden Anderson, William Kinsella Jr., and Adam Cruz at the very back of the field here. So it looks like that'll tie up qualifying. And I won't run through the run-up as we just did that on the sheet there. So we're going to get going right into the main event.
Touch all your seatbelts, touch all your connections, touch your Hans. Just make sure you...
Gentlemen,
I did tweak up the aggressiveness, so we might actually have some chaos in the race here. 150 laps, it's not guaranteed that we'll see pit stops, but there's still a good chance that pit stops will be a factor in this main event. And so here, the anticipation finally blows up wide open as the month of May rolls at us live from Kil-Kare Speedway. And you got to imagine these guys racing with a little bit more incentive behind it, with each win earning rewards throughout the month of May. You got to imagine that these guys and gals want it a little bit more than the last couple races they've run. Skylar Taylor, she takes the lead here from pole position. That number 29 looking strong early on. But with 150 laps, you know for a fact that attrition starts to become a factor. Tire wear, all that's going to kick in later in the race. Roughly, I think about 40 laps in, you'll start to really see the best of the best start to shine. Lap traffic, it's definitely going to be a problem for these guys. Not for Skylar Taylor. She starts to grow a sizable gap here on Hamburgerson. Ooh, we got a caution already here tonight. The 8 of Jaden Anderson gets spun by the 11 of Adam Cruz here. Pretty standard spin, no one else involved. The 8's going to get back going and avoid falling a lap down here. So first caution of the night. And I'm not sure what this is gonna... We haven't ever seen a caution here at Kil-Kare Speedway, so there's really no telling how this might play out. Skylar Taylor is going to lead them to the restart. Double filed though. There's definitely a good chance that the lead could swap hands, as we've got some weird shit going on. NR2003 just being NR2003, I guess. 33 has a mechanical failure and stalls it on track here. Everyone's still trying to get their spots sorted out here. Man, it is so obscenely slow around here once you're single file under caution. It's a whole nother level of patience, as now the 48 of B. Roy having a mechanical failure, it seems like. Lights are off on the pace car. They're going to get doubled up here for the restart. And they did not wait 1 minute to get back going. Finley Herwig takes the lead. That's interesting how they have the green flag wave right on. Oh, they're going to get dialed up here with a false start. That was a very, very rookie mistake from the 80 and the 29 as they jumped the start and left before they should have went. 3 wide for position here. This is starting to look ugly. Ace Blake and Alan Chavot fighting for the win here now. Chris K. Green running in third there, right behind Alan Chavot. 29 and the 80 serving a pass-through penalty. It looks like they're going to hold them on. And they're going to rejoin the track here right in front of the leaders, which could be treacherous. We'll have to see what the 29 decides to do here. Chris K. Green going around the 29. Alan Chavot gives the 29 a little bit of a bump there. Love tap, might say. Giving some more love taps. That 29 not very happy with all the events that have unfolded here so far. She was leading the race, but has to pay the price ultimately for making an illegal move. Forced her down pit road. So now Alan Chavot with his sights set on the 13 of Hamburgerson, the 10 of Chris K. Green. Ooh, and now the 21 of Ralph Oberstadt showing some strength here, as he's cracked up into the top 5 for the first time tonight. Ace Blake looking very stout out front there. Proven to be a very dominant car, that 77. So I'm going to play by a little bit different rules here. If anyone is more than 1 lap down, we're going to DQ them to help alleviate any terrible mishaps that could happen. Unfortunately for these folks, yeah, I'm going to give the 29 at least another chance here. But I don't think there's any way she's going to get 2 laps back. Ace Blake looking very stout out there, holding off Chris K. Green, Hamburgerson. But lap traffic's going to start to factor in here as those fast laps are going to get halted a little bit when he catches up to the tail end of the field. It's kind of impressive. You can see a lot of 3 wide action in the deep of the field from the kind of the off screen of the camera. If you look right there down low, 2 wide, 2 wide, 2 wide, all the way to the back. For once in my life, I too am caught up on paint schemes, which is impressive, but at least paint schemes that had been stacking up on my to-do list that needed to get done in a timely manner. Now I can actually focus on paint schemes for our Music Fest Grand Prix, which I mean, I've got probably about 10 of them done, but I'm going to have a whole field, the entire field of cup drivers with a paint scheme that needs made. And for those of you that haven't picked out your music, band, all that stuff, anyone that is in the server, I highly recommend putting a bid in to get a one-off cup start, because that is the one, that is the biggest, that is the most highly touted event that we have hosted on YouTube here, and I want to get it growing bigger and bigger every year. If there's one race that everyone tunes into, it's going to be that one, and we want to see all the crossover talent. If you're an ARCA driver, so be it. We want you in it. Trucks, Bridge to Cup, anyone else, I mean everyone else is very much wide open welcome to hop in for that one race of the season. And if you have any questions, just ask on the server. We will happily help set you up with the right direction to get it all squared away. So here we go. Ace Blake has now caught the back end of the field here, and things not going to get any more easier as continues on. 77 looking beyond stout, holding a steady lead here over the 10 of K Green, but that lead could start to dwindle here as lap traffic always puts a wrinkle in your plan. Oh, and that's just the temporary pause in action as NR2003 tries to sort itself out. Oh, no, 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 no. Ouch. Now we've got a caution as the 77 gets a piece of that. His teammate spinning out. There's a couple different chunks of action going on here. Trevor Vaden involved in a wreck. Oofty. Donovan Heist with a brake failure from the 25 is what happened. 25, I think, might have had a similar mistake there, or perhaps mechanical failure. 25 doesn't show what he had, but the 25 had some trouble there in the turn. '66 is lucky that she gets by without any damage. The 19 not as much, does get some pretty significant damage. Jamison Thole collects Vaden there. I think Vaden will be fine. But really, what happened to the 78? He had a brake failure, which is not very common. You don't see brake failures on a, well, you can kind of see them on a short track once in a while, but not very likely. Wow, he had to Ross Chastain it once his brakes failed. As you see here, having to Ross Chastain it around to slow down the car. Unfortunately, just clips the outjutting wall there. Collects Ojima. Ace Blake takes a pretty hard hit there on the 01. 33 was involved. And the chaos keeps unfolding. So more drivers out of the race now, as you've got, let's give the wave around to some drivers while we can. Ooh, wow, one lap down, a whole bunch of them. This might be harder to do than I thought. Pace car is off and we're back in racing already. And believe it or not, the 10 of Chris K. Green, the 77 of Ace Blake. Kaylee Sheets somehow has your lead right now. And I do not know how she got the lead at all. Oh, and we've got another wreck happening. As this is going to get harder and harder to get sorted here. Man, what a crapshoot we've got here tonight, folks. We got a lot of shit going on, and a lot on the board, a lot on the line. These drivers gonna need a little bit of luck to go their way. So unfortunately, the 11 is gonna be DQ'd because that's what one of the problems here is. We have too many drivers laps down. DQ number 69. So 29 off. Yes, so wave the 29. Wave the number 50. And DQ the number 8 for bringing out the caution here. There, this will be so much better now that we don't have half the field a lap down. Somehow Kaylee Sheets winds up with the lead here. And we need to wave so many of these people around so they're not holding up the racing action here tonight. There we go. Right there, your top 5. The first place driver, that of Kaylee Sheets, Ace Blake, Chris K. Green, Casey Klein, Chase Kovacic, Jakov Rosevich, Bailey Parker, Craig Bush, Rand Kataz, Trevor Vaden, Ralph Oberstadt, James Gunner, Wyatt Wilkinson, Ham Bergerson, Craig Popchris, Skylar Taylor in 16th. Last car on the lead lap. And the green flag waves. We're back and racing here. Ooh, and Ace Blake gets that lead back. Kaylee Sheets loses the lead here. Having to pull down. It looks like some damage on that car, forcing her to make a pit stop here. And so now the battle on between Ace Blake and Casey Klein. Chris K. Green and Jakov Rosevich, as well as Craig Bush, your top 5 runners right now. Wyatt Wilkinson very much there in the picture. More drivers joining the race from pit road. Oh no, Ace Blake having to make an unscheduled pit stop there for the 77. That's a rough one for him, as he had the lead sewed up. So now Casey Klein takes over first position here. Chris K. Green in second. What a bummer for Ace Blake, who was looking stout there. Oh, and they're wrecking again, as seems like Ace Blake might luck out here, as that caution falls at a very opportune time. 51 of Zach Magoon, very stout in the points battle, unfortunately takes some damage. When the 29 gets turned off track here, she's having a hard time getting back on track. That's gonna raise a red flag from officials. So half your field pretty much knocked out of the race right now. Trying to get as many of them back on the lead lap here. The chaos keeps getting dialed up to 11 here tonight, as now we've got Casey Klein at the lead. These cars all looking like they are going through the shredder here today. The last ones that need to get waved around here, the 27 and the 33. Lights should be off on the pace car here. They should get doubled up for the restart. We'll see who jumps the start this time. Look like the 10 might have jumped the start. It is such an unorthodox restart system we have here tonight at Kil-Kare. Yep, the 10's going to have to serve his penalty for jumping the start there. Casey Klein did perfect by not jumping the start. And for future reference, oh, Casey Klein having to serve a penalty too. So now Jakov Rosovic out front leading the race here tonight in that number 43. How fitting would that be for Jack Ross, his partner in crime there, Jakov Rosovic, to get victory at their home track. Casey Klein and Chris Kagreen, two stout cars that were running at the front of the field here tonight. Looks like they're going to have to struggle their way back up to the front. Ace Blake having to work his way back through the field here. We do have a lot of strong cars having to race their way back through the field. A little bit of smoke there. I wonder if it was the 15 on the last lap. Oh, Vaden getting spun. Yeah, the 15 gets... Oh, that was a gnarly hit that we missed there. 3 wide and he just gets used up. This race has been rough for LFG Motorsports, and then just another lap later, the 18 of Trevor Vaden gets turned. Oh, he was having to come down pit road for some reason and did not have room to make that move. So now the 18 of Vaden out of the race. Some more people coming down pit road for perchance a scheduled pit stop here, I think. A lot of takers for pit road. I think everyone wanting to get one more fresh pair of tires for the second half of this race here, as we're right at about halfway. Still having to add more pace laps as this is taking a while for these drivers to get off pit road. Oh, no, 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 no. Somehow, some way, Wyatt Wilkinson is going to become your leader with Ace Blake in second, Chase Kovacic in third. Don't know who's in first. Skylar Taylor must have dipped down pit road because she's no longer in first. So your top three as it is right there. Everyone else should be back on the lead lap so that we can get back to some standard racing here for the second half of the race. It's been a rough race so far for LFG Motorsports, as the 18 of Vaden out of the race early, before halfway even. The 15 has had a rough go of it. Craig Bush still in it. He's running 12th, but man, it's turning into a demo derby. It's a war out here at Kil-Kare Speedway. They definitely are killing a lot of cars. So the one glitch in this track that we found tonight is on the restarts, these guys jump the start almost without flaw that they jump the start. So we'll have to see. Maybe I'll just do a minus pace lap now. I don't know if I want to do that. they don't have enough time to get doubled up with the better cautions double file restarts. So the race restarts get kind of wonky here. Yep. Pace lights off. And your top two drivers almost always jump the start, and I think it has to do with who's in front or who's behind them. 77 and the 19 seem to have held on for now, so we'll see how this turns out. Chase Kovacic, that car looking very roughed up here tonight. He's going to go put the fight to the 19 of Wilkinson here. Oberstadt up to third. Rand Kataz into the top 5. Ooh, Oberstadt gives the 62 a little bit of a shove there. Steven Oberstadt wants to get in the action here tonight. Steven Oberstadt fairly new. Oh, no way. And Wilkinson having to make that unscheduled pit stop. These guys really have had their work cut out for them tonight, as Wilkinson now making a trip down pit road. The chaos continues to unfold here. We don't have nearly enough cars left in this race to... Oh, did Wilkinson... DQ'd, unfortunately. The 19 of Wilkinson and the 66 of Kaylee Sheets made an illegal move somewhere out on the track and unfortunately got disqualified. So Steven Oberstadt has a very sizable lead here right now. Man, Wilkinson's going to have his worst finish since starting in the series here. Looks like he's going to slot into 16th here tonight. The game doesn't really give me much more details on the disqualification, but it must have been a jump start and not serving the black flag penalty for jumping that start would be my guess. Ralph Oberstadt, the lucky benefactor of it all. This could be a big win for Ralph Oberstadt in his very, very young career. Oh, and then we've got a caution. Of course we have another caution. Eli the Wolf must have hit the outside barrier. 32 of Gunner gets into him, and wow, that is one of the hardest hits I've seen so far tonight. Unfortunately, that 33 is done for. And that was from 8th place, as Gunner was running 7th. He clips the back bumper of the 33, and that just puts an end to Eli's night there. Might have even put a little bit of a damper on the 32's night. So now Ralph Oberstadt needs to be careful not to jump the start here. As we only have 12 cars left running here tonight. Ralph Oberstadt leads the way over Rand Kataz, Skylar Taylor. I wonder if I can disable the double file restarts. I don't know if I can actually disable that on the fly like I'm hoping, but maybe if we could. If they go single file here, maybe no one will jump to start. Yep, pace car's off. No one's going to jump to start here. I think Ralph Oberstadt's going to play nice and roll all the way around the track. We were able to disable the double file restarts because we could not get someone to roll through. There we go. That's more like it. That's very standard. Seriously, the 15 got DQ'd and stalls on track to bring out the caution here. Okay, so let's get sorted here, folks. Let's get back to racing. It's looking a little bit lousy right now from our best ARCA drivers in the series. Turn the pace lights off and let's get rolling here. Ralph Oberstadt hoping to get himself his own custom profile banner with the win here tonight. Pace car not pulling off even though the lights are off. Okay, we're back in racing now. As difficult as that was to get going, holy cow. We're down to 1/3 of the field here tonight as we only have roughly 11 cars under strong power here. Ralph Oberstadt out front over the 9 of Kataz and the 13 of Hamburgerson. One of our top title contenders, Chase Kovacic. This could be a huge night for him to gain some very valuable points in that number 62. Casey Klein working his way through the field right now. Looks like he's got the cleanest car of everyone. And he's very well prone to racing through the field to get back to the lead. Look how stout this car is looking right now. Turned a 13.637. Let's compare that up to our leader who turned a 13.649. So comparable, very comparable, the two of them. The only difference is Casey Klein's got a lot of passing to do here and not a whole lot of time to get it done as we're down to 49 laps to go. The chaos truly came out tonight at the short track. These guys had to earn their stripes tonight. Basically went through the shredder to find themselves here at the end. Hamburgerson running in a solid second there. Rand Kataz, that's a very impressive run from him. Wow, and just like that, that 13 closing the gap here. Turning some very competitive laps in the 13. These were not the names we were expecting to see at the front of the field here tonight. A lot of our heavy hitters got caught up in the chaos. The craziness that is NR2003. Hamburgerson's got a little bit around 2 seconds to close up the gap on Steven Oberstadt here. Oberstadt playing for that bonus here tonight. Hamburgerson closes the gap down a little bit, down to 1.88 seconds. As it seems like he's getting in a groove here, finding the fast line around Kil-Kare. That time down to 1.83, and they haven't even caught up to lap traffic. So Ralph Oberstadt better keep an eye on his back there. That 13 trying to close the gap. 1.75. Hamburgerson wants to duke it out for the bonus here tonight, getting a profile banner for Discord or YouTube or whichever way you want it made. Whoever scores the win here tonight gets to pick it the way they want it. I'll set it up as I'll ask and you shall receive. Bergerson, ooh, lost a little bit of time there. 1.71. It wasn't as competitive of a lap there as Ralph Oberstadt's. Oberstadt turns a 13, ooh, a 14, and a 13.78. Hamburgerson within 1.5 seconds of the 21. Which, of course, catching will be one thing. Passing would be another. But it seems like the 21 showing some slight lapse in time here. Lapse in lap times. .816. This will be comparatively slower as he turns a 13.9. Hamburgerson almost within a second now of the lead. It almost feels like the 21's just trying everything he can to soldier it home here. As tire degradation starts to kick in, something fierce. Oberstadt, all he can do is hold on tight and hope for the best. I guess throwing a Hail Mary, in other words. That 13 also trying to throw a Hail Mary. We'll see who's got the receivers in the end zone to pull it off. Ooh, Oberstadt turning some quicker laps now. Ooh, 1.51 seconds. So Hamburgerson really losing his grip here with only 28 laps remaining. Ooh, that looks like it was a stout lap from Bergerson. Closes up a little bit more. The fight, it's going to be a tough one here as they just kind of trade back and forth on quick and slow laps. Ralph Oberstadt has been a staple in our truck series, races on the Trucks East Division, and having been fairly new in our series, hasn't had all the airtime at the front of the field, and figured hopping in this ARCA car would give him at least another opportunity to race for wins. And so far so good, as that 21 could potentially get its first win in just 5 races time. That's a Jaw Drop Motorsports entry fielded by the Walker Bros. Actually under control by Jordan Walker, but actually not, I'm incorrect, it's Void Motorsports. Jaw Drop Motorsports is their Bridge to Cup team. Void Motorsports, both of them fielding it, Trevor and Jordan. So the Walker Bros venture into the ARCA Series here. And they picked up pretty good wheelman there in Steven Oberstadt, as he's looking like he could get the job done here tonight. Short of something failing miserably at the end here, He's starting to stretch the gap back out on Hamburgerson. Lap cars looking like they could be a temporary buffer here. He's going to have to work his way around the 64 of Mark Shelton. Shelton turning, they're all turning roughly about 14-second laps right now, so it's just getting to the point where everyone's car is tuckered out. 16 laps remain, so there is not very much racing left here tonight. Ralph Oberstadt showed some strength in the truck race last night at Watkins Glen, qualifying in the top 15 and overall finishing with a top 15. So it seems like everything's clicking in the right direction for Mr. Oberstadt, as he's got his eyes on the prize here tonight. 13 of Hamburgerson right behind him. Rand Kataz in third. Kovacic with a huge points night here, going to run fourth. Skylar Taylor, she was up front leading for a while, gets mired back to fifth. Casey Klein, Chris K-Green. But all eyes are on Ralph Oberstadt as there's just 11 laps to go now. The gap a full 2 seconds in the favor of Ralph Oberstadt. 9 laps to go. It's going to be harder and harder for Hamburgerson to really close that gap, as Kil-Kare has given us pretty standard short track racing action here tonight. A lot of bumping and banging, grinding, and craziness all throughout. Ralph Oberstadt really slowing up now with the lap traffic in front of him. He didn't want to slow up too much. It is very relevant that he's just kind of putting in a safety buffer here, because he doesn't have to do a whole lot. There's no reason to push the envelope and make a mistake here with the lap traffic. But overall, no one really saw this coming. This is a great performance from that team tonight, as Oberstadt survives and rises above the chaos and commotion here tonight at Kil-Kare. Short of a caution, he's got this one in the bag. If we did get a caution, we would enact the green-white checkers clause, but I don't think there's any cars out there that are going to wreck now that we've got only 11 cars left running. Yeah, 11 in total, so 1/3 of the field left running. 2/3 of the field wiped out tonight. White flag waving for Ralph Oberstadt in the number 21 Void Motorsports entry here in the ARCA Series. Running second, Hamburgerson, but it doesn't look like he's going to have enough to close that gap. He started to close it. It's going to look a lot closer than it looked, but Ralph Oberstadt with the overall victory here tonight at Kil-Kare Speedway. Great run from the 21 and everyone else involved. Ralph Oberstadt's going to be able to ink his name into the history books of Sigma as a race winner now. And with the trucks in the East Coast, I mean, there's still chances for him to win a couple more races here in the month of May. He is your very first winner here in the month of May. And I'll end up sending him a message to see how he wants that personal banner done up. With that, our top 15, or top 10 that were left running actually: Ralph Oberstadt, Hamburgerson, Rand Kataz, Chase Kovacic, Skylar Taylor, Casey Klein, Chris K-Green, Evan Snake, Bailey Parker, and Craig Popkris, which I think may very well be one of his first top 10 finishes. Mark Shelton brings it home in 11th, one lap down. Some very hard hits were the 19 of Wyatt Wilkinson with a 16th, Ace Blake with a 17th, and that's really, I mean, Jonah Burridge, that was a tough deal for him, getting spun out after losing his brakes even. So a rough day for most of Weiss and Chadwick's team here at Kil-Kare Speedway. Are we gonna have a very non-chaotic ARCA race this year? I don't know, because we're only gonna go to crazier tracks as the schedule progresses through the season. The short tracks really are an unknown, but each driver has the same track, and everyone's going to have to rise to the occasion. As tonight was definitely one of those situations where a lot of drivers had to figure out or fall behind pretty quickly, pretty rapidly, as things got harder and harder to stay up above the sinking line, so that you kept yourself out from drowning. So craziness. Good race at the end there. We got to see a little bit of racing action in the midst of all the chaos that was unfolding. Congratulations to Ralph Oberstadt on getting his first ever SIGMA racing win under competition here. And so that is a wrap for tonight. That is the first race here in the extravagant month of May Madness that's potentially going to see some gift cards handed out by the end. Ralph Oberstadt gets to stamp his name as the first winner here in the month of May, and has earned himself a profile banner, custom profile banner that I will work on in due time. Tomorrow, Bridge to Cup action, we will see all the drivers take to Armory Digital Super Speedway with the newcomers of Ace Blake and Wyatt Wilkinson duking it out in their first ever Bridge to Cup action. So that should be interesting to see how they do in their series debut with the series. So thank you everyone for tuning in. It was a little bit slower night tonight, I think, but some of you might tune in tomorrow to catch this. We definitely hope to see more of you tomorrow night with the Bridge Cup action at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 o'clock Eastern. And that's a wrap for tonight. Congrats, Ralph Oberstadt, getting that win. And we're going to head on to the next one. So have a good night, everyone. Stay safe out there. We'll see you.